Over the years, we've seen countless superstars be slammed and put through tables in the WWE. First popularised by the Dudleys in the 90s, tables became a staple across WWE programming. But what does being powerbombed through a table actually feel like? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing my experiences as an indie wrestler chasing that WWE dream of what being powerbombed through a table actually feels like. My name is Shreddy, a professional wrestler and the 2022 NABBA Mr. Britain bodybuilding champion. I've been lifting since I was a teenager and I've been competing in bodybuilding for over 10 years now. I'm not the guy to speak to if you want to become a pro bodybuilder, but if you do want to get bigger, get leaner, and feel better about yourself, I might be able to help out. So coming up next is the footage of me being powerbombed through a table, and this is the clip that I'm going to be referring to in today's video. So breaking down the setup for this, we started from the buckle and then moving to the powerbomb, as you can see there. But the setup was starting in the buckle, probably going for like a 10 punch or something like that. Might be going for a superplex. The guy I'm working with slips down and hooks me for this powerbomb position. So it's like a hope spot for him. He's getting out of the offense that I was giving him. It's a little bit of a comeback for him. Get me in that powerbomb position and you can hear the response straight away. So the crowd are coming up for an anticipation. Then we have the bump and the pop from the crowd. And what I always find funny about this is I'm holding onto the buckle there, I'm holding onto the ropes because I did not want to go. I did not want to take that power bomb. But I'm holding on, and then, oh shit, I've got to do it. Let go, and then you just take the bump. So, table bumps in wrestling are presented as this devastating spot. And while a lot of wrestlers were using tables, and tables had been used before, it was the Dudley Boys in the 90s that really did popularise it by bringing tables into their gimmick. And then when they moved from ECW to WWE, they were able to get this seen on a much wider, much larger platform, popularising the use of tables in professional wrestling. The use of these tables in segments in out-of-match scenarios then introduced the tables match. Over time, the tables match evolved into a TLC match, which is very popular now, has its own pay-per-view. They're very visual, they make a great noise, and while most people have never been put through a table, we can all relate to sitting at a desk or a dining table, and even though those tables are completely different to the folding tables used in wrestling, a viewer can immediately make that somewhat relatable to, well, if I was being put through my desk, I'm sure that would hurt, and that can translate to what they're seeing on the TV. It creates that perception that being slammed through a table is going to be really painful. And in wrestling, it's the most effective moves, spots, moments that elicit the loudest reactions, that elicit the strongest emotional responses that are achieved through the least amount of pain. Anyone can throw a shitty looking punch and actually pop somebody, breaking the nose, orbital bone, injuring the guy that they're working with. Absolutely devastating, but it will look crap and get no reaction whatsoever. Or you could have a guy like Roman Reigns throw his exaggerated Superman punch with the theatrics involved that isn't going to injure anyone but get a massive response. So my experiences of being powerbombed through a table is that I would much rather take this bump over the regular powerbomb bump. When I take powerbombs, I have took some that make my body vibrate, that wind me, and no matter what the bump, a bump is a bump and a bump is going to hurt. But a powerbomb can be a really, really painful move, painful bump to take. Now, the reason I personally would rather take the powerbomb through the table is because the table is there to help break the fall. I don't want to use the term cushion the fall, because it does not cushion the fall. It is still going to hurt, okay? A table will help lessen the pain by breaking the fall somewhat. So coming from a higher height, coming from a powerbomb position, if you're taking that off, you know, a 6-foot guy, you are up pretty high in the air, coming down, hitting the mat. The table being there is allowing your body a little bit of something, a little bit of give, just to break it before you hit the mat completely. So by being powerbombed through the table, I'm able to create this amazing spectacle. I'm able to have the visual of a table snapping in two. I'm able to have that sound of the table breaking, that crunch, that snapping sound. And the pain on my body is actually less than what it would be if I was just taking the powerbomb. However, to the fans and to the viewers watching this, it looks like such a devastating move to take. And that's the art of wrestling. You want to make things look like they're really hurt, they're really painful, they're really vicious, with doing the minimal amount of damage possible. Now, this is why you'll have seen over the decades in wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA, WCW, indie promotions, that when guys are taking spots, taking moves from a ladder in the middle of a ring to the outside, or maybe even just to the canvas itself, they will have quite often tables stacked up in something like a TLC match, rather than, you know, I would think of Edge and John Cena, rather than the attitude adjustment off the top of the ladder, just straight to the mat. By going through tables, it actually helps break the fall for the guy taking that move. It looks way worse. It looks way more devastating to be going through the tables. But for the guy taking that move, it's actually going to lessen the pain. It's going to help break their fall. So the bump and the impact they're taking isn't as much. Assuming things go right. Things can go wrong. You can get caught in the metal of a table, which can cause really nasty gashes, cuts, and way more pain. But assuming everything goes right into plan, going through those tables will help break the fall and actually minimise the damage and the impact from somebody taking that bump. Don't think that by going through some tables means it doesn't hurt at all. Any bump hurts. Any bump, you feel the impact. So don't think that when you see somebody going through a table, it's a pain-free bump, because it isn't. So that is what being powerbombed through a table actually feels like. Is it what you expected? Did you think going through a table would hurt more or hurt less than a regular bump? Let me know down in the comments below. So now we know what being powerbombed through a table feels like. What does it feel like to be slammed into thumbtacks? Watch this video to find out, and subscribe to follow my wrestling and bodybuilding journey, because remember, this ain't no gimmick, it's a lifestyle.